this week's video by Ubisoft News.
Is bringing that super hot fire to Rainbow Six Siege with 2 new operators and a newly reworked map. The defender bringing the heat is Goyo, who can use his Volcan shields to create strategic cover points, deny entry to the attacking team, and serve up the occasional operator flambe. The attacker, rising to the challenge, is Amaru. Her Gara hook can quickly zip her up to rooftops, exterior windows, open hatches, and skylights. We've got the details you need to know about the new operators, as well as a tour of the newly reworked canal map. First up is Goyo. This operator from Mexico's FES unit is a savvy tactician who can rapidly deploy his Volcan shields to stymie incoming attackers. The Volcan shield shares all the attributes of a deployable shield, including the new look and the new snap to doorways feature, but the Volcan shield has a surprise. Anytime Goyo, his teammates, or even the attacking team sets off the incendiary core attached to the back of a Volcan shield, there's a small explosion, followed by a prolonged, oh my god, it's all on fire effect that you definitely don't want to try running through. The explosion can be triggered by damaging the core directly or destroying the shield entirely. So, Goyo doesn't necessarily have to stick around and be the one to set it off. In fact, this medium speed, medium armor operator can be quite deadly while either roaming with his Vector 45 ACP or hunkering down with the TCSG-12 shotgun. If things go bad, his shields are still a threat even after he's been killed, especially when paired with a Captain track. Thatcher's EMP grenades and Twitch's drone can't disable the incendiary core, and IQ can't detect it, the Volcan shield is still a deployable shield at heart, meaning it can be destroyed, and the explosion triggered by a frag grenade. Or Ash's breaching round. You could also use Zophia's impact grenade, or Sledge's hammer. This is fine. On top of that, anyone with a clear line of sight to the incendiary core can set it off, meaning a poorly placed Volcan shield can work against the defending team. The goal with Goyo is to leverage the power of the Volcan shield and deny entry to enemies at critical moments, or simply buy your team some time early on. When the attackers are pushing, or when the round is coming to an end, trigger your Volcan shields to keep them away from the objective or cover your flank. A well-timed Volcan explosion can be the difference between lighting up the scoreboard or going down in flames. While Goyo seeks to impede the movement of his enemies, the Peruvian attacker Amaru can get around the map like no operator before. This is her Gara hook, and it lets her zip to any repellable ledge or window to quickly position herself where defenders aren't expecting her to be. And once she's inside the building, the Gara hook lets her travel up through open hatches and skylights. That's a first for Rainbow Six Siege, and defenders will have to adjust their strategy accordingly or pay the price. When it comes to choosing your destination, the Gara hook makes it easy, clearly showing what it can or could grapple to. You can't grapple to something that's too far away or too far below your position, but you can use the hook for horizontal traversal, as long as you're entering a window. Once inside a building, you can't target anything but open hatches and skylights. While the hook will instantly break a wooden barricade on a window, a castle barricade will prevent you from even targeting it. And a closed hatch will need to be opened before you can ascend through it. Amaru's Supernova or ITA-12S shotguns will come in handy if defenders leave those hatches unreinforced. This makes Gara hook entry a bit noisy, so team communication and good droning are all the more valuable. Amaru doesn't pull her gun up until landing from the grapple, so she's completely vulnerable to Captain and Frost traps lying in wait. Not to mention any defenders who may have heard her entry coming. Operators who can give her a quick buff, like Finka, or use their gadgets to distract defenders, like Ying or Dokemi, are strong pairings for Amaru. But with medium speed, medium armor, and a G8A1 LMG in her hands, Amaru is a well-rounded mobile, forced to be reckoned with. All this action has been taking place on the newly reworked canal map. The map is still split between two buildings, but an additional bridge has been added to increase building-to-building movement options. There are fewer windows around objective sites, and the rooftops have been reconfigured to make runouts more risky. And additional staircases and color coding throughout both buildings have been added for more rotation options and easier callouts. The reworked canal map will be free for all players when Operation Ember Rise launches. The two new operators, Goyo and Amaru, will be immediately available for Year 4 pass holders, and all other players can unlock them 7 days later with Renown or R6 credits. For more on Rainbow Six Siege, subscribe to this channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com.
Now that we are in North Carolina, Alex, how does it feel to be back here at a major?
It's beautiful, it's sunny out, it's a great time to talk about Season 3.
And we will be receiving all of your operator intel for the second half of the panel, as usual. And Jeremy, any interesting run-ins with bourbon and barbecue?
There's been a few run-ins with barbecue, pretty much every night. The food here is amazing. Just everyone I've met is so lovely to talk to. It's such a great place to be.
All right, well, let's get started with your map, which is the Canal rework. This is the latest rework to come, the last one being Cafe. And this is one of the original maps of Siege. Now, Canal has not been available in the ranked playlist for almost 2 years, so since September 2017. So many of you will be happy to know that with this rework, Canal will be coming back to ranked.
That's correct. We've gone through top to bottom on this map and totally reworked it. Obviously, adding a new bomb site makes it ranked compatible. But, you know, if we talk about the problems with the map, you know, we've gone through, we've re-looked at navigation, we've looked at sound, we've looked at lighting. It's going to feel like a comfy pair of slippers, but it has, you know, a new spice to it, that's for sure.
So first, let's compare it to the Cafe rework to get kind of a scope of this project. Because of course, since we haven't seen Canal and Rank for so long, presumably it would have required a more thorough overhaul. And you worked on this for 9 months, almost a year.
It was about 9 months worth of work. The team and I started working on it around Paris Major time last year. So it's been 9 months of looking at the map, taking it apart, and obviously trying to fix all of the issues with it.
So speaking of the issues, let's start breaking those down. Now, the most obvious problem that Canal had was the choke points.
Yes.
Canal is one building to the east, one to the west, and before there was just one bridge connecting both buildings. How was this addressed?
The first thing we did is we added a bridge off of control room, which now gives a new rooftop access as well. So you have 2 bridges. You have the original bridge still in the same place as it always has been, and then there's a new bridge 1 floor up. So that aids in the rotation. The other thing we did is we went through and we added stairs. We know that 2 sets of stairs or 2 flights of stairs are always much better than 1 flight of stairs, so we've added an extra set of stairs into both buildings.
So now each building has 2 stairs, and of course the choke point has been pretty opened up in the middle.
What's happened now is when you go and play, and you know, obviously it comes out soon, it's much more of a roamer-friendly map, and the rounds play an awful lot more differently than they used to, because the way the rounds played was people would wait till the last minute and then they would basically just rush in and smoke or whatever. So now what you're going to find is people are clearing the building. They're actually going because they can actually get to the objective rather than waiting outside.
Alright, and then we should also talk about the other elephant in the room, which was the spawn peaks. One of your favorite things to address.
Yeah, after the closet window in the villa, sprint yeet the seafloor towards fountains. I learned from that one quite well. So what we've done is we've gone through and we've looked at all of the run-outs and the run-out possibilities, and we've made sure that anyone that wants to run out will be detected before they get to the edge of the roof, in most cases.
So if you really have your heart set on running out, you still can. You'll be detected, so it turns into more of a 1v1 scenario.
It still can be done. You know, yesterday we were playing with a bunch of the creators, and you know, they will run out on you, and they did. But you know, it becomes a one-on-one. It's possible, but it's dangerous.
Right. So it's a little bit more skill, which I think is what you're going for.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. And then, of course, as you mentioned, Canal also received a lot of the same upgrades that the Cafe rework had, which is like sound propagation. Destruction is a lot more clear now. Lighting updates as well.
The team went through and did an amazing job, the art team especially, going through and color coding stairs. The sound team did a great job because it is a big map. There's a lot of doorways and windows. So we went through and we touched everything. There's a lot of line of sight floors now, so you can play you can defend from below. So it's actually really quite fun. It's quite balanced. I enjoy playing it.
I guess in your words, that our team actually went pro.
Yeah, we did say they went pro. Yeah, they went pro. So what happens is, as we've changed metrics over the seasons, basically we had to move all of the walls by 5 centimeters. That means they had to touch the shell anyway, and whilst they were reaching the shell, they just went through and redid the entire thematics of the buildings, and it looks absolutely superb.
And so we'll see when we're going through the map that when a wall is destructible, not only does it look destructible, but there are those markings on the ground, just for anyone who's new to the game or has kind of issues about looking for destructibility. So now what we're going to do is we are going to start breaking down every single bomb site on Canal. And we're going to start with the second floor. So are you ready to go through the entire map, Jeremy?
I'm good to go.
Alright, so again, we're starting here on the second floor. The objective here is server radar. We're going to be spawning in at Sailboat, which is to the south, and we're going to be going straight there.
So the spawn points in this map haven't actually changed at all. So there's still the 3 major spawn points, sailboats, floating docks, and construction. There's new art assets, nothing too serious, but there is some new stuff to block lines of sight. We're going to go in through reception. What people will notice with reception is we've actually changed the rotation of the desks, so it actually aids in navigation. And if you look sneakily to the left, archives is much wider now as well. The original bridge is still off to the right, and this is blue corridor. You can see the markings that are on the floor to show you where the destructible walls are. And then you go through and you're going to come up a new area, which is printer stairs, which is a new rooftop access. And this access on the right is there's a window, and then you have the new tunnel that goes to control room. Now, control room radar used to be one massive plant zone. What we've done is we've actually split it down. Renovations are still there. I know people love renovations on the soft wall. So the plant zone is actually much smaller, so people have to commit. All the blue walls here are destructible, and you're into red corridor going towards green stairs, and then you're going into server. Now, server used to have the corridor around it. We removed it because you get confused. So the bomb sites are side by side. You can blow the walls and have a lot of rotation. It's line of sight, and there's 3 hatches in this area.
So this objective especially, it used to kind of feel like sitting in a glass aquarium for the defenders. There were a lot of windows that opened up directly onto the site, but we don't see any of that now.
Basically, when we go through, we start iterating upon the map. We shut down all of the windows, so the first thing we did on this map was we shut the windows, and then bit by bit we opened them. Obviously, like you say, you felt like you're in an aquarium. The gameplay is still there because that's the flavour of the map. You still can actually snipe from the rooftop, but the field of view and the angles now is actually much finer, so you need to really time your shots.
Run-outs are harder, sniping is harder, it's more skillful.
Yes.
Alright, so now let's move down to the first floor. There are 2 objectives here. There is one to the west, which is Coast Guard Mini Lounge, and then there is one to the east. I have that backwards. There's one to the east. I have that right, okay.
There's maps and security.
Yeah, we're going to maps and security. And we're going to go up to the second floor first, and then we're going to go down to the first floor.
So maps and security had, maps hasn't really changed too much, but people will recognize it. Construction, everyone's going to remember, it hasn't actually changed all that much. There's a few new props, but the path is still the same from the spawn points. You'll see the nice new red stairs that are covered to stop people come running down and doing early kills. You will get detected by the time you're at the bottom. You come in through construction entrance, and then we have the entrance, and if you go hard right, you're going to green stairs, back up to server again. Now, what's really nice about this is with the stairs and the walls, it's really easy to call out, and it's actually much easier for people to navigate because it's just cleaner and much nicer for the players. You go the hatch, you drop straight into security. Now, with security, if you remember, there used to be a locker room. That's changed. We've put a door through now, so you can actually go between the 2 bomb sites, between maps and security. And then the kitchen is still off on the right-hand side. You'll notice there is actually a window in projector just to the side, so you can still get shot at from the roof or across the buildings. And obviously, there's a window in kitchen if you want to try and come through.
Right, and so this is an objective that's been changed and that you have to commit when you go onto the site.
You really need to get through the door, and it's one of the sites where you're going to find that you can actually defend it remotely, and I think we'll see a lot of that being played.
Alright, so let's go on to the other objective on the first floor, to the west. We're actually going to spawn in construction again, so this is a bit of a longer route to take. And instead of going up to the second floor first and then working our way down, we're going to go from the basement.
So everyone remembers Coast Guard meeting. There's been a number of significant changes to this area, but it's still going to feel quite familiar. So we're off at Coast Guard again. You can obviously see the wonderful submarines that are docked there. You come through, and the route we're going to take is we're going to go down into Garage. Garage is now external rather than being internal, with the doorway to the red stairs on the left-hand side. So this is now, a place where the defenders can't go, so we've closed it up a little bit. Obviously, we're underneath the new bridge. You can see the windows that go up into football. And we're going to go into lockers. Lockers hasn't changed a great deal. Everyone will remember it, and it goes through the showers. Go up the hatch with Amaro's hook, and then go straight into football. Half of this room is destructible floor, half of it isn't. There's a lot of destructible walls. Then you come across the blue corridor into Coast Guard meeting. Everyone will remember the 145-degree wall is actually in the map, which is the split between the two rooms. Go through complete line of sight floor here, and then what people will notice is archives has changed. It's much wider. There's a breakable wall, and there's a double door, so it's less of a choke if you're actually going to try and attack from archives. It's still hard. You can do it.
Nice. So still, once again, it's skillful.
Yes.
And we also saw Amaro's gadget being used there, as you mentioned, coming up through the hatch, which makes defending this site kind of tricky, because now you have to decide if you want to reinforce those hatches, which limits your rotations.
It's a choice that people will learn, and they'll actually, the structure will evolve over time. Obviously, with you having to reinforce hatches, you make a decision. If someone's staying anchored in the bomb site, you can cover the hatch. You're going to hear it get blown, so it's not so bad, but it does change the structure a little bit for sure.
Alright, so let's move on to the last objective then, and this is in the basement. Now, the basement never had an objective before. Of course, this brings the total number to 4, making it ranked playlist compatible. For this one, we're going to start by spawning in the northwest at Floating Dock, and we are going to make use of a new tunnel to get on site.
Ah, the tunnel, yes. So this area has changed quite a lot. Everyone will remember Coast Guard suppliers. It hasn't changed. It looks exactly the same, but we've rejigged it a little bit. When you start the Floating Docks, you can now go up right. There's a path that leads up to car park, and you can drop down into Fort Raleigh. There's a new tunnel that goes all the way through to the car park as well, and all of this has been completely reworked. So you've got the new shell, you've got diving alcove, and what we're about to do is jump into diving, which is a new room. In the far right-hand corner behind the scuba gear, there's the set of stairs that leads all the way up to printer. So it goes yellow stairs, blue stairs, up into printer. You have a tunnel that comes all the way from diving, all the way through to in between showers. So if you're getting pinched, you can drop into the tunnel, but you have to be careful because obviously defenders or attackers, everyone can use it. You come through bathroom, into the basement corridor, and then you're into boat suppliers. This will look very familiar to people because it hasn't changed all that much. Obviously there's a bomb hatch there. And we go into kayaks, which is a new room and a new bomb site, which is really good. The white walls are all destructible, so we've color-coded that. And then you have diving. So you've got a lot of options, and the site plays really interesting because everyone tries to use the same old strategy. There's always a firefight on white stairs, which is quite fun, but now it changes because there's different options.
So from your testing, is the tunnel more advantageous for attackers or for defenders?
It's really a 50-50 because it's a risk versus reward, to be honest, because there's a ladder and it does leave whoever uses it, they're going to be prone when they're coming out the ladder so that they can get attacked quite quickly. I find it really useful when you're getting pinched and you're playing blockers and you want to just get out and rotate straight back down to time.
Alright, well thank you so much, Jeremy, for walking us through the canal rework. Again, I'm sure many people are going to be very happy to know that this map is coming back to ranked.
It's always a very nervous time for the dev team. I really hope that the community loves it, and I'm sure that even though I've tried to stop all of the small peaks, I'm sure that someone's going to find one somewhere. But that's the beauty of the community. They always learn, and I learn from them.
Well, you'll be able to play the new canal rework starting tomorrow, Monday, August 19th on the test server. So get out there and make champions proud. And now we'll move on to the operators of the season. Now, these operators are unlike any ones that have been released before because they really encourage player creativity, and you can play them how you really want to. Now, by this what I mean is that with Amaru, you can attack however you want, and with Goyo, it doesn't matter if you prefer anchoring or roaming, because you can do both with them even in the same round. So to talk about this, we have Alex.
Hello, Galen.
So let's get to the bottom of who Amaru is first. Who is Amaru?
Right, so Amaru is an operator we really haven't seen before. She comes from a civilian background, not a traditional CTU, and she's made it her life's mission to protect her heritage, to fight against traffickers of antiquities, and this has really been her stronghold.
So someone who's very morally strong and fights for what she believes is right.
Absolutely.
And let's move on then to her gadget first. So do you want to introduce the gadgets for players?
Yeah, of course. So the Gara. This is something that she actually made herself. And as you can see, she gets from point A to point B incredibly fast.
Very fast. How fast?
The travel time is about 7.5 meters per second.
And we'll get into that a little bit later on. And so the hook outside, it works on ledges, skylights, windows, and inside it works on hatches. So she's the very first operator who can ascend up through hatches.
Yes, and like Jeremy was saying before, this kind of changes things up now for defenders, whether or not you have to reinforce those hatches on defense.
So with so many options of how to attack a site with her, what kind of player would be drawn to Amaro?
Someone who really enjoys creativity. This is the first operator that's not really based on role, it's based on movement. And we haven't seen that before. So there's going to be a lot of freedom with that, and I think players who are very well accustomed to our maps will really enjoy it.
So creative players, and again, it doesn't really matter what operator you go out with, because she has synergy with all operators, really.
It's really about playing with your team, making sure that they're droning so that you know where you're going, where you need to be. It'll be a really good team play out.
Alright, so let's talk about her loadout. Starting with her primary loadout, Amaro comes with either a Supernova or a G8A1, so a shotgun or an LMG. And what's interesting about this is that the Supernova now comes with a silencer attachment, and the LMG has an angled foregrip. Now, the silencer, that's not for sneaky shotgun kills, is it, Alex?
Not really. So for hatches, you have to break them first in order to get at them. So the silencer just helps her be not announcing her position as loudly as before. And then with the LMG, having that new angle foregrip means that she can ready the weapon a little bit quicker.
Right, because she'll probably be popping up from the hatch, maybe literally on site.
Yep.
And you don't want to spend a year bringing that gun up here.
Absolutely.
Alright, and so for her secondary loadout, she has the option of taking either a shotgun again, which is the IDA-12S, or an SMG, the SMG-11. And what's great here is that even if you take the LMG for your primary, you still have the option of taking a shotgun, so that you can still open up hatches, because they have to be opened up in order to use the Gara hook on.
Right, that's our design, is just making sure that you have some options to play with, and that everything fits with your kit.
So her secondary gadget options are either breaching charges or Claymore. The Claymore is really useful if you need someone to watch your flank. So if you're zipping around the map, going through hatches, and you're worried that a defender might follow you through the hatches, then it's useful to put down a Claymore to warn you of that.
Right, and if you want the breaching charge, this opens new ways to flank, to move through some of the jungle of the map, to make sure that you get to the objective quickly.
So both of them are good picks overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so then let's talk about what I'm sure people are waiting for, and that is, how do you counter Amaro? And we'll first touch on the strongest counter to her, which is Castle.
Castle, absolutely. He reinforces the windows.